Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. My name's Ben and I am a revert to Islam. I live in Oxfordshire. I thought I would do a video on my story because it's a thing, isn't it? All the new Muslims do it. So I thought I'd give it a go. It's been, so I took my Shahada roughly 8 years ago. But it's been a weird journey. So there's a lot's happened in that 8 years, so I'm going to tell a short version, and if you like it, I'll go in a bit more in depth, maybe, inshallah. I was an atheist before, so my family are, they don't believe in anything. They're not bothered, basically, you know. So they're not bothered. They probably got brought up as Christians, but I didn't really think about it. And when I was a kid, I used to go to Sunday school, not because my mum wanted me to teach me about Christianity or anything. It's just free babysitter. So it's the school holidays. It's my mum works, my dad works. They send him to Sunday school because that's free. So yeah, that's the closest I got to religion. But I grew up an atheist, to be honest. In my teens and early adulthood, I was really anti-religious. So I used to love watching debates with atheists and religious people, and watching the religious people get smashed, to be honest. In the debate, I used to love debating friends and stuff. If they even things like believing in ghosts and fortune tellers and things that seem hocus pocus, I'd just be like, why do you believe that? That's mental. Just come on. Yeah. So that was my position. So the reason I'm a Muslim now and not an atheist is because eventually, more debates I watched, I actually come across debates where Muslims were winning the argument. So yeah, and that made me think, and it made me think about it made me realise that I was arrogant. I was really arrogant, and maybe I should rethink everything, you know. So it was 8 years ago. I can't remember everything, but basically I started looking into. I watched more debates with Muslims because it was interesting. That's what sparked it, and it was the argument that there's one God, and that the biggest thing for me that made it actually could be a reality that there is a God is that the claims people made about the scientific miracles in the Quran. So that was the gateway for me to look into Islam. And now, I'm not saying that the Quran is a book of science. No, because in the story you'll find that one of my mates, when I became Muslim, I went on my Facebook. I was like, "Oh, look at this! It's a miracle. How can you not be a Muslim?" And I was all like, "Yeah, whoa!" And then they came, and I think it was like an anti-Muslim website, and it was all the list of all the claims, and how science nowadays disproves it. And then my iman dropped. I'm going all over the place. Let's continue the story. So right, let me think. Where were we? Right, I'm not even become a Muslim yet. Right, so what happened after that? I was watching lots of debates and stuff, and learning more about Islam. And then started watching lectures. So people doing speaking to Muslims. So it wasn't like dawah work. Then I kept having dreams about Islam, and that was annoying me a lot, so I just couldn't get it off my mind. Dreams about being a Muslim, dreams about meeting Muslims. I've heard of people having dreams about seeing the Prophet, peace be upon him, and stuff like that. It was nothing like that, but it just kept reminding me to look up some videos on Islam, and I kept doing it. Then I bought the Quran and I read the Quran. And the more I looked into it, the more obvious it became to me. And the reason I feel it's obvious is because it brought the argument of what created everything that exists now, and what the criteria of that creator is. Yeah. So there's a bloke Sheikh Ramsey in this closest city near me, and I just went up to him and said, yeah, I'm interested. He gave me a few leaflets, read through them, knew it all already because I've been looking into it loads. And then I saw him a couple of times, gave me a few more books and that. He didn't really listen to me, to be honest. His English isn't amazing, but I already decided in my heart. And then I went up to him and he was like, yeah, do you want to just come to my house and then we would just take the Shahada? And I was like, yeah. I didn't even think, I just said yeah. And then I was like, oh, what have I done? I didn't want to be a Muslim because all of the stuff you have to do, and it meant I can't drink, I can't be a bad person, to be honest. I think people that do bad things, they kind of kid themselves that it's okay, really, to do that bad thing, like cheating on a girlfriend or, things like that. Yeah. But yeah, and then I went to his house. There was another Muslim there. He was a white revert as well, and I took my Shahada. Alhamdulillah, and I'm a Muslim. So I'm recording this video. I'm not going to edit it or anything. 6 minutes in already, and I've only just took my Shahada. I talk a lot, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the first year of me being a Muslim. Then I'm going to end it because it gets interesting. Ooh, you have to find out at the end of this video. So what happened then, as I was just learning, as most reverts would learn, I was lucky to have Sheikh Ramsey teaching me Quran, teaching me how to recite, and we would meet up once a week. It was like an hour of learning, an hour of hangout time, and that was the cool thing about that. I felt like a Muslim. You know what I mean? So I learned that sort of stuff. I didn't really question much. Because I was very humbled from being this arrogant atheist to go, oh, I was wrong, and then I was very humbled. So I would kind of take it what everyone said. I'd go, yeah, okay, I'll do that, and then I looked into it. So I haven't really talked about how it's impacted me personally in that time. So I had a girlfriend. Had a girlfriend. At the time when I took my Shahada, and I was living with her, and we had like 9 months left on like contract for this flat. So I married her under the Islamic law, nikah. So yeah, alhamdulillah, we're married. That's a long story as well. That was hard, a non-Muslim and a Muslim being married. But I told my mum and dad. They weren't bothered because they just, yeah, you do what you want, mate. Liberal. It's cool. It's fun. I'm happy that they were like that. Sorry, guys. I said earlier I wasn't going to edit, but I didn't really want to say the name of my wife, so I took that out. But my wife's family didn't take it very well. They don't really like Islam, so that was quite hard. But yeah. So we're going to wrap it up now, because this is where earlier I said I was questioning things. So the thing I questioned was the hadith, and the reason I believed that the Quran was from God was what it presented inside it, and the evidence there was that it hadn't been changed from the time the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke those words. And then I go, what's all this? I can't find that in the Quran. And they go, yeah, the Prophet said it, peace be upon him. And I'm like, what? Well, how do we know that? Oh, yeah, this it's in the hadith. What's the hadith? Okay, let's look into that. And then it's not as sound. It's not as sound as the Quran, is it? It's not as sound because there's some unauthentic hadith and so on like that. And then as a new Muslim, that's hard to grasp, and there are some hadiths that are confusing. There's some that's, when you read them without any context, sound horrible. There's some that sound far-fetched. Being an atheist, I was still a bit with miracles and stuff. But yeah, so then I found a group. It was random. I was looking for knowledge all the time. I was like, I'm going to put this in the back of my mind. It was stressful, thinking, I don't know about this hadith thing. And then I went to this Quran seminar. I found, oh cool, I'm going to go there. I walked up there, and and I called my friend, my Muslim friend that I was introduced to and stuff, and he said, "Oh, cool, oh, that's good, but watch out, it's not these sort of people, okay? Because there's a group in Oxford that a bit iffy, and it was them, and they were liberal Muslims or Quran only Muslims, and I'm gonna end it there." What happens to me? Right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone.